The July 12th City Council meeting is called to order. We have our invocation by Bishop Peter Wren, Senior Pastor, East Birmingham Church of God in Christ, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Will you bow your heads with us? Most kind Father, we greet you in the precious name of Jesus. We invoke your divine presence upon us. And we pray, as you exhort us all to pray, that first of all, supplication, prayer, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all men, for kings and those that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. We invoke your presence, O God, upon this council, for the members who rule and serve your people in this great city of ours. We ask that you would give them directions, that you would show them the way to lead us to the greatest city in the world. Bless each constituent in every problem, provide the answer and the solution, and bless us in every one of our endeavors. This is our prayer now. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call a roll, Mr. Clerk.
Councilmember Abbott.
Present.
President Pro Tem Hoyt.
Present.
Councilmember Lundy. Councilmember Rafferty.
Present.
Councilmember Roberson. Councilmember Parker. Good morning. Councilmember Scales.
Good morning.
Morning. Councilmember Tyson. President Austin.
Present. Minutes are not ready from April 12th through July 15th. Let's go with the consideration of the consent agenda, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, 1 second here. Let me get people that are absent. Consent agenda starts on page number 2 with item 1. Then we skip over to page number 7. We have items 4, 5, and 6 on consent. On page 8, we have items 7 and 8 on consent. And we have information from, I guess that's PEP, concerning items 10 through 17. They are requesting that they all be withdrawn. That's items 10 through 17. 18.
Items
Apologize.
10 through 17?
I'm sorry, that's not 18, 19. That's 19, 10 through 19. Items 10 through 19, at the request of PEP, should be withdrawn from the agenda.
Okay.
Then we pick back up with the consent agenda on page 10 with items 20, 21, and 22. Page 11, we have items 23, 24, 25, 26, and 27 on consent. Page 12, we have items 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32 on consent. Page 13, items 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37 are on consent. Page 14, items 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42 are on consent. Page 15, items 43, 44, and 45 are on consent. On item 45, fifth line from the bottom, we should change the funding codes from 00246 to 002426, and the 00246 to, again, 002426, and the same with the last entry, 00246 to 002426. That's on item 45. On page 16, we have the items 46, 47, and 48 on consent. And we have several addendum items, and we have items 54, 55, and 56 on the addendum designated as consent. As well, on the addendum item, page number 2, we have items 57, 58, 59, and 60 designated as consent. Then on page 3 of the addendum agenda, we have item number 61 designated as consent. I think that concludes the consent agenda, Mr. President.
Mr. Clerk, on page 7, item 3, it did not make the cutoff for it to be placed on the council agenda. So what do we do with that, Mr. Clerk?
That's council discretion, sir.
So I don't have to even call it up?
That's the council's discretion.
Okay.
Mr. President, I
All
would
right.
like to speak.
Do we
to
have
that.
any other items?
I have one.
Go ahead.
As relates to number 3, I am going to ask the council to take unanimous consent to bring the item up for discussion today. So at the proper time, hopefully, you'll recognize me, but I do plan on bringing up item 3 and ask the council for unanimous consent for
Okay.
consideration and for passage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other members of the council wish to speak to an item, wish to speak to the consent agenda?
Mr. President?
Councilor Abbott?
Yes, on page 6, I would like to consent item 2. I know it's a public hearing, but I think it's non-controversial.
Okay.
Then on page 16, consent item 49. On page 17, 51, 52, and 53. And on page 3 of the addenda,
You said
items.
49 and then 51, 52, and 53?
Yes.
Okay.
And then on the addenda, page 3, item 62 for consent. And that's all.
Wait, what'd you say? 40, yes. Okay.
What number? What number?
49 will not be on consent, and item 62 is as well. You want, Chaz?
Item 63 and 50 are duplicates.
Items 63 and 50 are duplicate items? Yeah, because that one, 50 didn't make it on the cutoff either. So we just won't have that. We won't bring that one up either.
So 63 on the addenda is off? the addenda?
63 on the addenda is the same item as item 50, but because they didn't make the cutoff by 5 o'clock on Wednesday as required by city code, they're having to submit them again as an addendum. And that's why. Same as with item 3.
So did you accept number 63?
No, as a matter of fact, I
That-
object because I have a question.
Well, is
It's not on consent.
63 is not on consent, but it will be taken up.
It's on the agenda. It's on, as an addendum. The addenda pack on that we have, items 54 through 54 through 63 are addendum items
Okay.
that I
All right.
did accept. All right. Do we have Council Scales?
No, Mr. President, I think you've already dealt with it. Item 63, I just wanted it to remain off because I had a question about one of the travel items.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, off, it's not on consent. All right. Do we have any other members wish to speak? Councilor Tyson? Uh, 62, yes, travel. Yeah, it was requested. Okay, we'll take that off too.
Mr. President,
Yes.
there's a little confusion. We're dealing with different addendums. I hear Mr. Parker speaking about another addendum.
No, you're confused. He was asking me about if 63 was an addendum item.
Okay.
And I told him that, yes, it is, as with this whole addendum packet. And he was just asking for some clarity. Item 50 and item 63 were the same item.
Okay. 50 and 63?
Yeah, they're the same item,
Okay.
but 50 did not make the cutoff for
Okay.
Wednesday at 5 p.m.
I got you.
according to the law,
I got it.
also known as the city code. Okay, so do we have any other members who wish to speak to the consent agenda? If you have any members of the public who wish to speak to an item that has been placed on the consent agenda and marked as a public hearing, you may now approach the podium. If there are any members who wish to speak to an item that has been placed on the consent agenda and marked as a public hearing, you may now approach the podium. We have a mover and a second.
Well,
Mr. President, I move approval.
before you do that, let me make sure this other one is, oh, if you could remove item 59 from the consent.
Okay.
What page?
I'm sorry, on page 2 of
Page 2 of
the
the
addendum.
Oh,
Taking 59 off?
59, removing that from consent.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay.
wait.
All right.
Got it.
We have a mover and a second. Abbott, Parker, we're ready to vote on the consent agenda.
Abbott Parker. Okay, voting should be open.
You want to move it?
Council member Lundy, Parker, and President Austin. That vote should be up for the consent agenda.
That item passes. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
What do we got here? Should be item 3.
Councilor Parker wanted to move for unanimous consent to have that considered because it's not properly before us. So you would basically be presenting a UC, and item 3 is not going to even be called up, but you can do it now.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Mr. President, I would like to bring up unanimous consent an item dealing with funding for the Kingston Fire Station for $3 million. So I would like to offer that as unanimous consent for the council to support for discussion.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No. No. All right, that fails. Next item, Mr. Clerk, should be item number 9.
Item 9, a resolution appointing 1 member to the Birmingham Design Review Committee as building trade practitioner. Said term expiring July the 30th, 2018.
Councilor, do we have a mover and a second?
Mr. President, I move approval.
Second. Abbott, Rafferty, the floor is open for nominations. Councilor Rafferty.
Yes, I'm gonna let Chris Hatcher to speak to this item first, and then I'll bring the nomination to the floor.
Good morning,
Morning.
Council, Mr. Patton. My name is Chris Hatcher. I'm the Urban Design Administrator for the City of Birmingham. This particular appointment is for Mr. Michael Calvert for appointment to the Design Review Committee. Michael is, you may all know him. He was the President of Operations of Birmingham for many years, nearly 30 years, and he has shown great interest in wanting to serve on the Design Review Committee and assume a appointment that was vacated by the death of William Robertson in the building trades practitioner. If appointed, he can begin serving immediately through the end of a term that is July 30th, 2019.
Thank
And
you.
if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
So the nomination before us that I'm making is Michael Calvert, whose term ends July 31st,
2019.
2019. Thank you.
You second or what?
Mr. President,
Council, Mr. Pro Tem.
I have a nomination of Chris Swain,
Who's he?
Christopher Swain. He's a construction person, and I think he's the partner with Monumental.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Yeah.
Mr. President?
Councilor Rafferty.
Thank you, sir. If we could, if we're going to bring, considering that these are very specific
Don't start
designated positions. If we're going to bring somebody who never submitted a resume to the committee for review or to the Planning and Zoning Department for review prior,
Democratic
can we just ask that this be delayed until we can interview and then bring the nominations back? I'm not looking to disclude either nomination. In planning and zoning, most of the interview process is taken under the Planning and Zoning Committee, and this has been advertised for quite a long time. And there are actually more openings available, and so I'm just asking for consideration to delay it so that we can look at the resume, make sure that he fits the qualifications for the committee, which Chris Hatcher manages.
Okay.
Well,
Right now, we have two names that's been submitted, and those names are Hatcher and Swain.
no.
No, Michael Calvert.
Calvert, I'm sorry, and Swain. All right. Do we have any more names to be entered in the nomination?
I move on to set two names.
Second.
So we'll close with those two nominations. We'll have to vote unless we have a motion to delay it.
I have a
before
motion to delay.
Time period.
When is our next planning and zoning meeting?
Next planning and zoning committees on August 15th, I believe.
August the 15th? So I would delay it, that's a Monday, correct?
That's Monday.
Okay, to August 16th.
All right. So do we have a motion to, you say it's a motion to delay it to August 16th?
Correct, sir.
So
We have a
we'll-
second?
Second.
There's been a mover and a second to delay it to August 16th. We're ready to vote on the delay. Mr. Clerk.
All right, voting should be open. Council, she's out. Okay, that vote should be.
All right, that motion fails. We'll take up the two names, as we've done. We just call the name. Just do a roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Mr.
Swain
President,
and Calvert.
Mr. President, if I may ask again, because this is especially qualified, has this been submitted to planning and zoning to ensure that the appointment, if this gentleman is to be considered, is qualified to fit this position?
Williams partner.
Counselor, any member of this body may submit a name for nomination, and that's where we are in this process, so.
Understand, but this specific seat is for a specific type of qualification. I would not want to waste the council's time in appointing somebody to this position that may not be qualified to hold this position. Although, sir, there are more open seats on design review that if he doesn't fit this, if this candidate doesn't fit this position, could be put into another position. All I'm asking is he qualified for the position?
The names are before us. Mr. Clerk, we're ready to vote.
Okay.
Roll call vote. Call the name for the person that you're supporting.
Councilmember Abbott,
Calvert.
Councilmember Hoyt,
Swain,
Councilmember Lundy,
Swain.
Councilmember Rafferty,
Calvert.
Councilmember Parker,
What you say?
Councilmember Scales,
Swain.
President Austin.
Swain. Swain will be appointed. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Where are we going here? Let's see.
Should be item,
Just announced that 10 and through 19 were withdrawn, and so we'll go to
49.
49. Okay, let me click. those
Call up,
items.
Mr. Clerk, item 49, 62, 63, 49, 62, and 63.
Okay, item 49. On page 16, a resolution approving the following advance dispense accounts. Terry Burrell, Grant Administrator, Mayor's Office, Denver, Colorado,
What's Swain's first name?
$1,027.20, August the 2nd through the 5th, 2016, to attend National League of Cities Leadership Academy, Bakari Malden, Administrative Assistant, Mayor's Office, Phoenix, Arizona, $177, July the 18th through the 20th, 2016, to attend AmeriCorps Vista Grant Administrators Then we skip over to item 62, which is an addendum item. A resolution approving the following advanced expense account: Alicia Brown, Social Media Manager, Mayor's Office, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, $2,538.36, July the 24th through the 30th, 2016, to attend behind the ballot exhibit, Democratic National Convention. And then item 63, a resolution approving the following advanced expense accounts: Tania Jackson, Project Manager, Mayor's Office, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, $952.56, July the 24th through the 30th, 2016, to attend behind the ballot exhibit, Democratic National Convention. Jennifer Kennedy, Communications Officer, Mayor's Office, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, $952.56, July the 24th through the 30th, 2016, to attend behind the ballot exhibit, Democratic National Convention. April Odom, Director of Communications, Mayor's Office, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, $3,712.76, July the 24th through the 30th, 2016, to attend behind the ballot exhibit, Democratic National Convention. Jarvis Patton, Chief of Operations, Mayor's Office, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, $4,172.64, July the 25th through the 29th, 2016, to attend behind the ballot exhibit, Democratic National Convention.
We have a mover and a second. Parker, Rafferty, Councilor Abbott.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. Now, we're spending $12,000 or $13,000 to send people to behind the ballot.
We're
Can
being
somebody?
asked to
Well, we're
spend.
being asked to, so can somebody explain what behind the ballot is?
Great question.
I mean, it says it's an exhibit. Why do we need to spend $12,000 or $13,000 to go look at an exhibit? Does anybody know what it is?
It's a party.
It's a party?
It's not a party. Miss April Odom, if you're in the area, would you please come to the dais, please?
That's what it looks like to me.
Social media.
Yeah. We do have a mover and a second. Would you like to delay it for 1 week, Councilor Abbott, till we get some answers?
Well, at least let's table it till the end of the meeting, and maybe by the end of the meeting, somebody will be available who knows what it is.
I'm prepared to vote on it now, but if you want. Is that what you want to do
Is
later?
there anything left on the agenda? Oh. Tabling it won't help.
Exactly.
Well, then I move that we delay 1 week.
Abbott, Parker for a 1 week delay.
Okay, 1 second, I'm sorry. Voting should be open. Councilmember Tyson. This is for 49, 60, and 60, I'm sorry, 49, 62, and 63.
All right.
Um,
We only missing. Go ahead and vote.
I'm missing also Pro Tem Hoyt.
Pro Tem Hoyt. A 1 week delay. It's a 1 week delay. We're voting on a 1 week delay.
1 week delay.
All right. So that item fails on a 1 week delay. The main motion is before us. Ready to vote, Mr. Clerk?
It's not on.
Approved. The main motion. Ready to vote, Mr. Clerk?
All right, voting should be open.
That item fails. Those items fail. Next item, Mr. Clerk.
Gotta go back to 50, I guess.
That item is not, we're not calling that item up. That's the item we just voted.
Okay, I'm sorry, missed that.
That concludes the,
What about 59? 59?
oh yeah, item 59.
Item 59. a resolution relative to the application of Gaines Enterprise LLC for a lounge retail liquor Class 1 license to be used at the Mixed Bar and Grill, 709th Street North, Birmingham, and any volunteer parties.
All right, move the item.
Yeah.
Mr. Pro Tem.
Yes, Mr. President, we want a one-week delay. We held this out for the striping, but it's been discovered that they don't have enough parking places, and so we would want to do that. Mr. Gambrell, you want to explain?
You might want to delay more than a week.
Okay.
They're gonna
I
have
had two by my,
yeah, I would probably do 4, because they're gonna have to go to ZBA.
okay, okay,
So I would say at least 4.
okay. So, 4 weeks is what I'm recommending.
All right, we're ready to vote on a 4-week delay.
Did I hear, who was the second? I'm sorry.
Counselor Abbott.
Okay. Voting should be open. I think that's Pro Tem Hoyt. I think that's, yes.
That item passes 1 week, 4-week delay.
Yes.
Next item, Mr. Clerk, should be down to the mayor's report. Mr. Patton?
The mayor should be here shortly, so can you go ahead and go with the next item, come back to the mayor?
Let's move to suspend the rules for our speakers.
Give me the speaker.
We got presentations,
Oh, we do have presentation?
I thought.
Okay, let's move to suspend the rules for our presentations.
Second?
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All right, first one should be Counselor Parker.
I think Ms. Rafferty.
Counselor Rafferty.
I wanted to apologize for being absent the last few weeks, and I'm really not supposed to be here today either, but, for medical leave. But, last week in Fultondale, for those that visited, the Vietnam Wall was on display. And when we all received the booklet on our desks, I know Counselor Tyson, you've thumbed through it.
I was there at the event.
You went to the event.
Yes, I volunteered.
Excellent. When I was thumbing through the brochure, I noticed the list of Birmingham residents that had died in the Vietnam War. And I wanted to take a moment to read off these names because I think it's very important that we take each of them into our hearts and into our memories. So, if you would please just bear with me. O'Neill and Addison, West Ensley, Army. Henry Lester Adderholt, Birmingham, Army. Granville Joel Allen Jr., Navy. Johnny Allen Jr., Army. Robert Warren Allen, Marine Corps. Roy Anderson Jr., Army. John Sylvie Ash, Army. Raymond Delmar Baker, Army. Harold James Battle, Army. William George Bennett, Air Force. Joseph Benoski, Jr., Army. Cobby James Bentley, Marine Corps. Jimmy Ray Bice, Marine Corps. Larry Eugene Boyer, Army. Colburn Brown, Army. James Homer Brown, Marine Corps. John Henry Brown, Army. Robert Wade Brunson, Air Force. Monte Rex Busby, Army. Henry Caldwell Jr., Army. James Edmund Carlton Jr., Marine Corps. Charles N. Carson Jr., Army. Donald Walter Churchwell, Army. Robert Lee Clark, Army. Aaron Washington Cochran, Army. George Coleman, Army. Michael Ira Coley, Marine Corps. Willie Lester Collier, Marine Corps. Samuel Champion Copeland, Marine Corps. Willis Calvin Creer, Army. Francis Edwin Daly, Marine Corps. Cecil Leroy Davis, Army. William LeGrand Dawes, Marine Corps. Leslie Paul Dedman, Army. William Earl Dennis, Navy. Raymond Kyle Dismukes, Army. William David Dorfman, Army. Charles Douglas Drysdale, Marine Corps. Ernest Eatman, Jr., Army. Samuel Arlen Eidson, Army. Herman Evans, Army. Jerry Thomas Evans, Army. Johnny Lee Evans, Army. Lamont Wilkerson Finch, Army. Edward Ford, Army. Joe Albert Foster Jr., Army. Ira Melton Franklin Jr., Marine Corps. Bernard Gause Jr., Navy. Oscar Gentry Jr., Marine Corps. William Riley Godwin, Army. Ernest Lee Gordon, Army. Ronnie Paul Grayson, Army. Richard Craig Grove, Army. Adolphus Hall Jr., Army. Ronald Hall, Army. Charles Hamner, Army. Olin Hargrove Jr., Army. Richard Earl Harper, Army. Cleveland Scott Harris, Air Force. Edward Leon Harris, Army. William Donald Hasty, Marine Corps. Johnny Vance Hayes, Army. William B. Hill Jr., Army. Michael Bruce Himes, Marine Corps. Philip Stephen Holloway, Marine Corps. James Augustus Hollis, Army. William Byard Hollowell, Army. Larry Frank Horsley, Marine Corps. Clarence William Howard, Marine Corps. James J. Howard, Army. Johnny Hudson, Army. Nathan Earl Hullett, Army. William Dickerson Hunt, Marine Corps. Adam Jackson, Marine Corps. Jerome Johnson, Army. Obie Johnson, Army. James Grady Jones, Navy. Jeremiah June, Army. Robert Kennedy Jr., Army. Scott Douglas Catchy, Marine Corps. Argus Lar, King Jr., Marine Corps. Frank McCrary Kitchens Jr., Marine Corps. Jerry Wayne Kizens, Army. Robert Wallace Lays, Army. Billy Ray Laney, Army. John Davis Larry Jr., Army. Gilbert Ledger, Air Force. Matthew Leonard, Army. Roger Lamar Leslie, Marine Corps. Robert Henry Littlefield, Marine Corps. Rodney Dale Lloyd, Marine Corps. Cleo Lockett, Army. Larry Van Lyle, Marine Corps. Carl William Mann, Marine Corps. Johnny Cochran Martin, Army. Rufus Michael Martin, Army. Edward Martzell, Jr., Army. Marvin Raymond McCain, Jr., Army. Michael Clinton McCain, Army. Clifford McCall, Marine Corps. Ira Eugene McGowan, Marine Corps. Jean Allen Menifee, Army. Kenneth Wayne Moulton, Army. John Larry Moultley, Jr., Army. Ira Jerome Murphy, Army. Irvin Jerome Morrell, Army. John Truman Nall, Army. Dan Lee Neely, Army. Charles Nelson, Army. Victor Hubert O'Neill, Army. William Clinton Odom, Jr., Marine Corps. Gilbert Swain Palmer, Air Force. Ronald Eugene Parr, Army. James Thomas Pence, Army. Vernon Franklin Pendergrass, Marine Corps. James Barney Perkins, Air Force. Army. George Edward Perry, Army. Julius Lee Peterson, Army. Cornelius Presley, Army. Gary Garnett Prince, Army. Simon Randall, Marine Corps. Jackie Lee Ratcliffe, Army. Robert Richards, Army. John Hartley Robertson, Army. Herman Ray Robinson, Marine Corps. Alton Craig Rocket, Jr., Air Force. Luther Julian Ross, Jr., Army. Glenn Lenall Runnels, Jr., Marine Corps. Theodore Marshall Rush, Marine Corps. Floyd H. Russell, Jr., Army. Charles Lowell Salter, Marine Corps. Ennis Ralph Scarborough, Army. William Herman Seaboard, Jr., Army. James Douglas Shaw, Marine Corps. John W. Simpson, Army. Clint Joseph Sims, Army. Jim L. Smith, Army. Norris Ray Smith, Air Force. Roy Smith, Marine Corps. Charles Aces Stewart, Jr., Army. Charles William Story, Army. Merritt Stoves III, Army. Gwenman Stribling, Marine Corps. Dwayne Taylor, Army. Robert Hildreth Taylor, Marine Corps. Bill Henry Terry, Jr., Army. William James Terry, Army. Wilton Herman Thomas, Marine Corps. Robert Tiller, Army. Gary Preston Tomlinson, Army. Lee Arthur Toyer, Marine Corps. Henry Mitchell Vinson, Army. Walter Wayne Vinson, Marine Corps. Stephen Michael Wade, Army. William F. Washington, Army. Harold Eugene Watkins, Marine Corps. John Raymond Watts, Marine Corps. Steve Clifton Wilder, Marine Corps. Gene William Williams, Army. Larry Douglas Williams, Army. Melvin James Williams, Army. Melvin Joe Williams, Army. Sherman Elliott Williams, Army. Tommy Lee Williams, Army. Fred Wilson, Army. Claude Young, Army. And Jimmy Dean Youngblood, Marine Corps. First, I would ask if anyone in the audience is attached to any of these names or lost anybody in the Vietnam War, would you stand? No one? These gentlemen and all veterans, men and women, give their lives for this country. I didn't tell you the color of their skin. I didn't tell you their religion. I didn't tell you their sexual orientation. These were good people. These would have made a great Birmingham. And we need to remember them. Thank you.
All right. Councilor Parker?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk more about our fire station issue in the Kingston community. And
Oh, okay. I didn't see it. Okay. Councilor Tyson, before we go on with the next presentation.
go ahead.
I wanted to thank Councilwoman Rafferty I actually participated in the wall. Councilman Parker was there also. It was very hot out there, but I had an opportunity to volunteer to help Katrina Ross Narvis. She was one of the organizers. And we had over 200 actually people that was in the war actually graduated from West End High School. And it's a big memorial plaque at the Veteran Hospital in the memorial section of the hallway with I think it's maybe about 59 names on there. And they actually all graduated from West End High School. And I don't know whether it was just a coincidence that all of them actually went into the military and actually was fallen heroes at the same time. But they did actually a big story on that, how many people actually came from West End High School that actually participated in the war. And some of them, I think it was about, they said 45% of them actually died in the war. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President, again. Like I was saying earlier, wanted to spend this time to talk about the fire station in the Kingston community. The item was we didn't take the item up today, but I wanted to recognize some of the residents from the Kingston community, if they would stand. And I see some of them have signed on the speakers list, but if one or two of them wanted to take 1 minute or so each to give some comments and some thoughts. I think we're limited to 5 minutes. So I don't know, Ms. Davis, any of y'all you all can come up. That's what No, Ms. Bell, hold on. I'm gonna call everybody. I want everybody to come up, but I see that Ms. Davis is on here, so I'm just trying to, if we can all speak now, that will, we can save some time on the back end. So, well, I'm trying to have them to speak now. Yes, sir. If that's Ms. Davis, if you wanted to.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. First of all, let me say thank you, Mr. Rapperty, for that presentation on the veterans. But
Speak into the mic so we can hear you.
yeah, I've been speaking into it. But as far as fire station number 8, we were asked why did it just get to be an emergency, and I felt like I need to tell you. It got to be an emergency with me when I saw it bolted up. And when I went home, I started calling, asking questions, because I had no business going in the fire station to see what was going on. The only time I see the firemen is when they either washing the trucks or leaving. So I had no reason to know. But human life is at stake. And nothing to me is as important as saving lives. Because when you talk about railroad tracks and that stuff, it strikes a nerve. This is Birmingham, Alabama. We are in District 4, but whatever happens in District 4 affects everybody, whether you live there or not. So what I want to ask of Mr. President, Mr. Pro Tem, and everybody else, let us go on, forget about 1920 and all that other stuff. Let's build the fire station now. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
To the mayor in his absence, to our council president and president pro tem, and to our district councilor and all of you. I am Reverend Gwendolyn Cook Webb, and I reside in East Birmingham, where at one point in time I was the community president, which encompassed all of that area. We're not here for any difficult situation. We're here for a situation that could be handled very easily handled today. And how I know that is because the money has already been allocated from the capital improvement budget, which means that the money is there. It has been signed off by the mayor and also by the director of finance. So the money is there. All we're asking you, and we would like to ask the councilors if they don't mind, those that are with, right up here, the people are the city. Those that are with the people and helping to keep the people alive, if you don't mind raising your hand or standing. I mean, we're all here for all of you. This is not a district thing. This is a human rights thing. The people make the city, and we have the right to live. I have an aunt over there with congestive heart failure, and if it wasn't for these outstanding firemen and that fire station, she wouldn't be here today. So we're not being territorial. What we're asking you to do is to help people to live. It's not about brick and mortar. Help people to live by opening that fire station. The money is there. We don't have to wait for a new budget. The money is already there. And all we're asking you is to help us, to help others, to be able to live today, tomorrow, and from now on. When you need your blood pressure checked, where's the first place you run to? Fire station. If you're having some problems with asthmatic attacks, where do you try to get to? Fire station. If you're having problems with diabetes, where do you get help? Fire station. So all we're asking from each and every one of you, there's no reason to pass it any longer. There's no reason to turn it down. All we're asking you is to give us our what? Fire station. Thank you and God bless.
Peace be unto you all. My name is Hamidullah Abdul Rahman, lifetime member of the Kingston community. When a person says some things that you don't understand, if a person shows you something that you can't comprehend, there's an alarm system that go off in your mind. It's called common sense. Common sense increases your intelligence because it causes you to think, well, why I don't understand this. So I'm asking you for common sense. But the ones who didn't vote for the fire station, I want to know now, why? What is your common reason, rational reason? Not political conversation, not numbers, not something that we can't understand. I would like for somebody to tell me your common sense. Brick and mortar is not more important or sacred than human life. We're talking about human life. Now I'm gonna call you by name, Tyson. I know you stand Parker, Lundy, Austin, Hoyt, Abbott, Scales, Rafferty. I've talked to some of you, and I've been very disappointed and heard a lot of lies. So I want you to stand up here now. We're not talking about tomorrow. Tell me common sense language why you reject this fire station. That's all I'm asking. And your conversation not only going to affect Kingston, but it's going to affect the community that you represent. Because if you see stupid language, that's telling you what you got. What affect Kingston affect every community. Now, would somebody please snap and tell me in common, plain, rational language why you reject the fire station?
Well, with all due respect, President Pro Tem.
Ms. Bell, I think my time is up. And because they've only allotted me 5 minutes for the presentation.
Well, let me just say.
Bruce said you all are out of order.
So the public will know, there is an email that went out with common sense on it. And the email reads from the president of the council. To all knowledge, this rule has not been enforced. Usually, the spot are not held on the agenda. So the cutoff time of this documentation is not submitted in time for the agenda to be on this consent today. The only way for this item to be read at this point on the Kingston Fire Station is to be allowed a unanimous consent. Now, that's not common sense. That's not common sense. Now, that's the email that just been sent out this morning. That's not common sense. Now, let me tell you something. I'm just gonna say this point blank. I fly in and out of town all the time, and the numbers are small today, but they can be bigger tomorrow.
Oh, yes, they
See,
can.
common sense is, what if there was not a hospital,
Councilman
then
Parker,
people
your
could get saved?
presentation is up.
What if there was not a fire station, then people can get help?
Amen.
What if there was not a police station, then the people could get no protection?
Amen.
Now, I want to say to the council today, what if we had not had a fire station in Roosevelt City? When I marched in the rain, I marched in the cold, and those communities came to me and said, Reverend Innocent, if anybody can put the hammer down, you can.
Your time
What
is
if
up.
this officer didn't take me out?
Rev,
What if? What if?
hold on.
What if we didn't vote for you?
Mr. President. Yeah.
Ms. Bell, just come on.
You all hold up.
Until one of y'all get in now, I refuse to move until you tell me why.
Your time is up.
I refuse to move.
If it was
Now,
on the south side, they would have done it.
I refuse to move.
If it was in Mount Brook, they would have done it.
I
If they was in
refuse to
school,
move.
they would have done it.
I refuse to move.
What if? What if I go to jail? What if I get locked up?
That's a good TV, Briggs.
Yep.
That's me, you know what you're doing.
Daddy don't like that.
Ain't gonna get you what you want.
Yeah, Daddy don't like that. You did good.
Mr. President, my name is up.
Just let them. Thank you. Worried about the business and stuff. We need to stop supporting this bullshit. Councilor Tyson, your name is.
Well, Mr. President,
Mr. Pro Tem.
if I may, it's really sad when we get to playing politics. We've said time and time again that Fire Station 8 is in the budget, as well as the other 23 fire stations that are certainly in need of repairs and or replacement. Matter of fact, Station 20, yeah, that's fine.
They're being paid to do it, but stop it.
Well, that's okay, because, you know, the truth will set all of them free, and us too. But the issue of the Fire Station 20 is on the list to be replaced. It's in the budget. But there's no outpouring. Those persons are still in the same conditions. Those firemen and women are in the same conditions. I mean, so do we love one more than we love the other? I don't think so. Station 20 was on the board to be replaced for more than a year. That's in my district. And I really hadn't made that a real issue until of late with all these games that people are playing. I mean, these are, you know, I mean, do we relegate, you know, the safety and security of the citizen by district? No. Well, my station is on there to be replaced, to build a new station. And yet it has been delayed for more than a year. And you telling me that a station that just closed, just a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago, takes precedence over a station that they had deemed that is in disrepair and that they needed to replace it. That's what was presented to me, presented to the neighborhood. Matter of fact, they were going to combine Station 24 and 20. And because of the residents in Bellevue Heights met with the mayor said he's going to reconsider on 24, but Station 20 was still on the chopping block. And guess what? I want the news to go out there and look at Station 20 and tell me, we got 23 stations now that the roof is leaking. And we exposing our men and women to environmental issues, health issues, on a daily basis. And so, they can play these games, but listen, the longer the mayor doesn't sign the ordinances for the budget, the longer we wait. What I'm not gonna do is extract this budget to satisfy one person. I'm not gonna do that, because we too are in danger in the west side of town. I've had enough done. Well, let me say, there's been enough of the lack of attention in the west side of town. We always seem to have to wait, crossplex, still waiting. Everything our grass is still waiting. All this stuff that we have to contend with every day. Get off on Avenue I, the grass so tall you lose your child in the grass. That's ridiculous. But if you get off on Arkadelphia, right up there by Birmingham Southern, guess what? You could have a picnic on that exit. Because who gets off on that exit? The mayor does. I'm tired of it. Playing these political games, and when we don't have a separation of citizen. We serve the same citizen. The mayor's citizen ain't no different than mine. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. And and let me just say this. I got a text last night from somebody who works here and said all these dilapidated and the increase in poverty and all happened under your watch. I said, under my watch. Last time I checked, I'm a counselor. I'm not a mayor. I can't send nobody down there to clean up the street, to cut the grass. That has to be done by the mayor. I said, so if it happened under my watch, then guess what? It's your boss. You work for the mayor. So all of this dilapidation have taken place is because of this administration. But what I am going to do, I'm going to begin to show the difference. What we get over there in the west versus what folk get in the south and downtown and what have you. And so you can see clearly, disproportionately, we are left out, and we are left out deliberately. Deliberately. There are very few councils who come here on a weekly basis that doesn't have a list. I got a list today. Stuff need to be addressed. Some councils don't ever have a list because they get their stuff taken care of. It's wrong. And it's wrong to mislead the public that we're not taking care of Fire Station 8 because Fire Station 8 is in the budget, and we done told you, your counselor, and all those folks come down here, we are gonna build a new Fire Station 8. It will happen, but it's gonna happen when we pass this budget. And when the mayor prepares the ordinances for the budget, that's when it's gonna get addressed. And we're not extracting this budget, we got a balanced budget, and we're moving forward. And if we don't, then we're gonna remain in 2016 budget, which is not a bad budget. It is an excellent budget. Now that's what's gonna happen. But I'm tired of the political games that are being played. And it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. And it's just, it's disheartening to think that we have black leadership who holds communities at hostage because you disagree with them in principle. Y'all better wake up. And I'm gonna share this last one. I had a conversation with a person the other day. So the real issue is that the leadership of Birmingham lacked vision. So when you lack vision, you create chaos. You create diversions to take the attention off of your lack of vision, and so that you all get all upset about this masquerade, this phantom kind of leadership. It's not here. It's not happening. It is not happening. We need leadership with a vision. Right now, leadership with a vision is schizophrenic. It seems to change each and every day. But we ought to be consistent in our vision. That's what's going to move this city and stop these games, because we still deal with the same citizen. The same citizen. And you can't tell me that a person living in the South Side is more important than somebody who lives in Ensley. Go look at Ensley. Go look at Ensley. Go look at Pratt City. I drove down there the other day. Listen, the pavement, the new asphalt on the road, so much differential, I would have thought a third grader paid the road. And they said they finished. Go down there. Don't take my word. Go down there. Just drive down, what's that street? Drive down W. They put a planter out there, a new planter, and the weeds 2 weeks ago were this high. A new planter for a community that's supposed to be moving in the right direction. And it's unheard of. You don't have to believe me. Go and see it for yourself. I'm still looking at roots of trees that are still there, that were there 5 years ago when the storm came through. Now, I'm tired of that. You ought to be tired of that. This city ought to be tired of that.
Point of order,
We had an
Mr. President.
opportunity.
Point of order. My point of order is we're talking about a fire station. And now we've gone off on a tangent, and I believe we should stick at least to the subject at hand.
I'm gonna honor that, because I'm through. But I want the folk to know the truth. Speaking truth to power.
Council Skills.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm actually glad that the mayor is here, so I am going to stay, Ms. Abbott, germane to the subject. But I wanted to share this. I shared this with the president, and want to share this with the mayor as well as the general public. There's a scripture that says in St. Matthew 12:25, and it says, "And Jesus knew their thoughts and said to them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand." That stuck out to me Sunday during church, because while we were talking about things that are happening across this country, and we're talking about racial problems, well, here's the underlying problem that's happening in this city, and it's so unfortunate, because those of you all who are actually in this room, you can feel the conversation and where it's going, even if it's not direct. Let me just say this. I was asked, excuse me, Mr. President, by the resident council of Kingston Housing Project to come over to their community. I didn't invite myself. They asked me to come. Upon getting there, I realized that, okay, now the fire chief is there and his deputies, police is there, and I'm okay. I have nothing to hide. But the events that happened after that meeting was very interesting, and I want to say this, Mr. Mayor, where everyone can hear me, because I just believe in your heart. I just don't think if you knew this actually happened that you would second this to happen. The department head of the fire department, I've been extremely supportive of the fire department, even when you first got here in 2010, Mr. Mayor, and the fire department's salary about overtime versus putting them back on the current salary. I was the only council member that wouldn't vote to take them back to not overtime pay, since we all said we care about firefighters. And I couldn't even get a second sentence out without being interrupted by the fire chief. I've said this before, Mayor. I don't play that with my staff. They'll never disrespect you. I don't care what we disagree on. My staff will never get the authority and never be authorized to disrespect you as a leader in this city. That won't happen. You got my word publicly and privately on that. But it got to a point that because I called it heckled, and Mr. President, you can let me know if I need a minute or two, but I'm gonna try to speed it up. But I found this to be so interesting that upon sharing facts, not how I felt, sharing facts only, because all of this cane that's being raised about Fire Station 8, I said it to the president of Kingston community. If folk really cared about it, it wouldn't have never closed. Now we're raising sand about it, but it's already closed. But the council didn't know it was going to close. And folk know that. Fire chief know that. It was a decision made by the mayor and the fire chief. But when the council gets blamed for it, I take a position with that. Because I don't mind being blamed for what I actually did. It's the fact of what we know we didn't do is the issue. When we did learn of it, we put it back in the budget. Well, Mr. Fire Chief knew that, but I will say this, and I really considered him a friend. I really liked him personally. But when this fire chief got up in my face while the Birmingham Police Department stood around and did absolutely nothing, and told me I don't work for the council, I work for the mayor, and proceeded, because he was so closely in my face, he had spit coming out of his mouth. The second time when it happened, because his folk told him, come on, let's go, he didn't adhere to that, so he chose to come back at me again. You ain't gonna make me look small, is what he said. Let me just tell you something, Mr. Mayor, that was so hurtful out of all of this. We have an intern, I'm not gonna call her name, but can you stand up, sweetheart? Because I want the mayor to see your face. This intern asked me if she could go to this meeting. This young lady is only 18 years old, and she saw this with her, stand up, baby, because they don't know your name, and saw this with her own eyes, that the fire chief would get up in a leader of this city's face, to the point that I had to say, don't spit in my face again. Did I not say that, sweetheart? Okay. And it's so sad, because now we've gotten into, you pit Kingston against all 23 other fire stations. Now I asked the folk of Kingston, because Miss President over there, she knows I said it, because she been left out of the loop, yet she the president over there of the neighborhood association, not the housing project. And I said, this council, as soon as the fire chief let us know, we put this in the budget. And I showed them the paperwork so they wouldn't even think we lied. But here's the point that got me. Not a single apology, nothing. And this is the way department heads are beginning to deal with this council. Now, I'm gonna tell you this, when I said about a city divided, I don't care if it's Ms. Odom with the Office of Public Information that the mayor said works for the whole city, that's also sending out emails about council members, and I work in media, and I'm getting a copy of the press release. This Office of Public Information on the council side has never written out one negative thing about this mayor. I wouldn't even approve it. Because again, against the differences, I will never personally disrespect him, period. Because he holds an office. So I don't have to like him or like his politics, which that's not the case, but I will not allow my staff to disrespect the authority vested in his office. And I wanted the mayor to see that and know that. Because not only did this young lady witness a man speaking inappropriately and hollering at a woman, let me make that clear. But you're talking about a department head of this city who actually had the gall to challenge one of the leaders of the city. The fire chief and no other department head should be trying to get votes. That's not what you do. That's not what you do. So I'm saying all of that to say this to this council. Mr. President, that won't happen to me again. I'm not going to file an official complaint because I actually like this person. But if it ever happens again, be rest assured, you stand on notice, every department head, if you ever do that to me again, as a person, as a human being, I'm going to file as a citizen a complaint against you. I'm going to do that because I'm going to tell you this in closing, and the public needs to know this. That same president of that neighborhood said, I went before several mayors about Kingston fire station. Nobody did not one thing to help us, and now it's closed. And some of the folk you listening to out there this morning, they don't even live in Kingston, like I told them. You don't even live there. If you cared, you would have been here talking about it long before now. But like I said, Mr. President, I think this city owes that young lady an apology. Whether the fire chief apologizes to me or not, Ms. Parker told me put on your purple underwear. Because I understand I got to be strong. But I can tell you this, it made an impression on that young lady. It made an impression, Chief, and you need to know that. And it's so unfortunate that we've gotten to a point, we disrespect each other, yet we say we're one city.
Thank you, Mr. President. My 15 minutes is going to be even more interesting than the last. This underscores a point that I've made since I arrived on the council in 2001. We do not maintain what we own. We like to build new stuff. And it's not this mayor, it's the council in general, the mayor in general, elected officials. You know, we like to go to ribbon cuttings. You can't do a ribbon cutting for a new roof. You know, it's just really not that exciting. But at some point in time, you know, we have to maintain what we own. Now we have a plan to do that, sort of a backdoor way of doing it, but this train contract, I think, is going to fix a lot of our buildings, at least partially. But it goes back to, we don't maintain what we own. If you live in a house and your roof leaks and you just sit there and wait for 20 or 30 years for it to fix itself, guess what? You're going to be moving because your house is going to have fallen down. And that's the problem we have. Now, it is just inexcusable to me that we have allowed this fire station that impacts people's safety to become a political football, and that is just wrong. In my opinion, we need to approve this thing because some council members said last week that they could go out and buy the property and they could go out and hire the architect. You can't do that until you appropriate the money. So whoever said that misspoke. We'll just say they misspoke because surely they knew that without an appropriation you can't spend any money. Surely, after all these years on the council. So the problem is that we're busy having a fight with the mayor, and the people in Kingston are suffering because of that, and that is wrong. It is just wrong. Let's all go in the back room and have a fight, but let's not hold up the fire station for the people who live in Kingston or any other neighborhood, but in this one, their fire station is closed. It isn't going to fix itself. And the sooner we appropriate the funding, the sooner we can get to work on it. That is what is common sense. We can get up here and pontificate about every hurt, every slight, everything that's ever been done to any of us, including being spit on. We can sit up here and talk about that until we explode, and it means nothing to the people in Kingston whose fire station is closed. You know, we can talk for 15 or 20 minutes past our time. It still doesn't help the people in Kingston. But we're back to the point, a lot of our fire stations are falling apart. A lot of our police stations are falling apart. A lot of stuff we own is not in good shape. Okay? But there is no reason to hold up Kingston because we're having a fight with the mayor. It makes no sense.
Mr. President,
do
did I have
that.
a point of clarity then?
Make your point of order.
And although I want to go beyond my time, I'm not going to because I believe in protocol and decorum. So have at it.
You already have. Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah,
Pro Tem, did you have a point of order?
Yeah, my point of order, Mr. President, is, first of all, the council is not fighting with the mayor. And if so, I want to know what that fight is, since that has been said, not implied. I want to know what is the fight. And the second thing is, so when the chief has already come to the council and said that there are 23 other fire stations that are basically on life support, so then I ask you, Counselor, since you seemingly have the one answer for Kingston, what do you tell the other 23 that we're trying to, as a council, keep open? I understand the one that's closed, but what about the 23 that's on life support? What do we tell them, Counselor, since we're going to save one that's already dead, and you want us to forsake the 23 that's on life support?
You want an answer?
Absolutely.
Well, I'll be glad to give it to you.
Well, please.
We-
Non-political at that.
Non-political, because right now I'm not too thrilled with anybody in here, except maybe the poor citizens who still would like some services instead of lip service, which is what all they get from us. So the train contract, which we have not approved, will fix roofs, it will fix windows, it will fix HVAC, it will fix plumbing. Those things will be done in our fire stations and other public buildings. So, and some money is in the proposed budget to fix some of these buildings in addition to what the train contract will do. The beauty of the train contract, which may never pass this council, is that we're not having to fund it up front with taxpayer money. The funds for it are coming out of the savings. So if you're asking how these things are going to get fixed, the train contract is actually a fairly brilliant way to do it. And it wasn't my idea, so I'm not touting anything that I have done. I'm just saying someone on the mayor's staff, someone who works for the city, because they all work for the mayor, nobody works for us except our assistants. So that's how it's going to get done, if we ever pass it.
Mr. Pro Tem?
Yeah, well, yeah, for somebody who studied planning and architecture, I'm the one who said that we could, there's nothing that precludes us taking the money, and because you got to acquire the property, you have to develop a budget, you have to design, and none of that takes place in 2 or 3 days. Now, somebody who spent his Auburn University ought to know that.
Not without an appropriation, my dear. You've got to appropriate
We
the
are a
money.
continuing body. We have a reserve to almost $98 million.
Still have to appropriate.
If the mayor wanted to take that money out of there, he could. Won't be the first time we've taken money out of our reserve. But to sit up here and what do you say, pontificate? Pontificate is a misnomer and a mischaracterization, because you employ all of that. every ounce of it.
You still
Every
have to
ounce.
have an appropriation before you can spend money.
Well, I was
It's the
chair
law.
of budget and
I
finance.
know, that's what's so shocking.
Well, and what's shocking to me is that you did absolutely nothing when you chaired it. So that's what's shocking to me.
At least I
And-
knew the law.
Point of order, please.
Okay, that's right. I'm
State
gonna
your-
leave
state
it
your
alone.
point of order,
I'm gonna leave it
Councilor
alone.
Rafferty.
Because I don't wanna do
We
like.
address our comments to the chair.
You're right,
Thank
you're
you.
right. Councilor Rafferty, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Councilman.
you.
President, my name
Thank
is,
you. But if we wanted to address this, the mayor has a power, has an authority that he can sign those ordinances, which includes that fire station and the other 23 fire stations that are in disrepair. Go out there and see Fire Station 20, please. Will you go by there and see it? I know what it looks like. Matter of fact, we had a neighborhood president some years ago dedicated monies to try to make it just livable for our firemen. And that's a shame. And she said it best, we don't take care of what we got. And we let it get into disrepair, but we want a new building, we want a new police headquarters, public safety, and the men and women that save lives every day are living in subpar conditions. That's crazy. But you said that's acceptable. That's reasonably acceptable. I don't think it is. I think you address all of them. And listen, the train contract is not going to deal with any of these issues simultaneously. That means at one time. It's going to be done in phases over a period of years. And by the time we get to the last building, we may not even be here. We might be dead and gone. Or in some assisted living facility, and probably don't know we're in the world. That's what's going to happen. And you need to be clear with people. Transparency is the order of the day. But I'm not going to sit here and play them games that you play, or any other council plays, or any other person in this city plays. I'm not going to play that game. I don't have to lie. I don't have to be, masquerading and pretending. But here's a person who sits up here every week. I've never seen a list that anything that she does, she don't ever say anything that what needs to be done in her district, because guess what?
Point
The
of
mayor
order.
gonna take care of her. I didn't call nobody's name.
All right. Council Scales, your second time.
Third.
Mr. President, then let me say this. I do believe in transparency, and I do believe that folk need to know. You can disagree with what I say, but you cannot disagree with what's in paper. So again, Mr. President, just for public consumption, I agree with you, Ms. Abbott. You said you need to appropriate the money. Well, guess what happened to Pratt City? We appropriated $10 million. We appropriated $10 million. Go see Pratt City. Those folk were told too they're getting some overnight. It been overnight 5 years later.
Fire station, 3 years.
Matter of fact, I would tell you, because I went to go and to see a veteran over the course of the weekend, Madam Abbott, and it looked so bad going up this road to Birmingham Healthcare as a rehabilitation center. The weeds are human high. Those folk, Tuscaloosa has gone on down the road. So what I told the folk in Kingston, I'm going to say it in the presence of the mayor, I'm going to say it in the presence of you, the public, and anyone that's streaming live. If we thought for one moment that Fire Station 8 was going to get built overnight, this wouldn't even be a discussion. But that's not how the government works. And I'm going to tell you, Mr. President, I'm going to be on a quest moving forward. For folk who are discounted, left out, and left without a voice, I'm going to personally help them to learn how government works so that government can start working for them. Because unlike what Ms. Abbott said, no, I'm going to stay on demand any other mayor after this mayor. If I'm the council representative, no, I don't just tell my folks stuff. No, they're going to see some action in District 1. And in addition to that, if I say anything to a citizen, if I can't prove it in writing, I'm not going to say it at all. Because I didn't come here to lie. I didn't come here to tell you something that you want to hear as a candid, coded conversation. If I tell you something, it's to the best of the ability that I was sworn into office to do. All of us got a nice little Bible. Can't speak about the mayor, but I'm talking about this council. Got a nice little Bible that it has Birmingham City Council. I don't know if y'all still have you alls. And we took an oath of office that said that you promised or you swore that you would do your job to the best of your ability. So help me God. And we all said, I do. So I'm going to keep my hand on this Bible for anybody who believes in a higher power. And I'm telling you, I'm not lying. But I do know you go see Pratt City. I do know in writing you'll find out we put up $10 million and appropriated it for that too. And the folk over there still suffering, period, a quality of life. So I ask the question again, only rhetorical. What do you tell the other 23 to keep them from closing? Because everybody got an emergency. I get that. But what happens to the other 23 that you make a non-emergency till it closed too, and then you want to have everybody coming to the council like we did for Claremont Fire Station, which is in District 3, Ms. Abbott, and you didn't stop until it got done.
That's right, Ray.
And I don't expect it to be no different, whether it be Kingston Fire Station 8 and any other part of this city. And let me tell you, citizens, the city fixed Claremont. Fixed it. That's all we saying. Fix not only Fire Station 8, don't make that the big issue. Let's look at all 23 and say fix them all at the same time. And Train is not going to fix it. And I still say you got a $61 million contract, and for female-owned businesses, those who have a disability, and African Americans, you only got $150,000 out of a $61 million contract. In addition to 18 years of work being consolidated into 2 years, and nobody can tell us everything that's being done about it. We absolutely have questions. If it seemed to be too good to be true, usually it's politics, and it is. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, let's move to suspend the rules for our speaker.
President, my name is up.
Oh, okay. Councilor Abbott, your second time.
Second time. Claremont Fire Station is in District 5. I represent District 3. Claremont Fire Station was sold. It has a hair salon in it now and a restaurant. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how our facts change.
It's a combined station.
They did.
Fire Station 22 is in District 5. It was sold. It has an accounting firm that owns it now and a few other little things in there. The new Fire Station 2210, the two fire stations were combined, much to the residents' chagrin, I will say, and it is in District 3. Yeah. But District 5 is across the street. So we'll get that taken care of. Now I'm going to give away one of my big secrets. The reason that I don't sit up here and give lists of all the things that need to be done in my district, I want you to hear my secret now. The secret is that I handle it via email, using the protocol that's been put forth by long past mayors. I send in my request to the chief of staff and the individual whose department is responsible, and that way we have a paper trail, and we can follow up if things don't get done. It's amazing how well that works, because I don't need to convince people in my district that I'm working for them by sitting up here and listing all the things publicly that are wrong in my district. Email for me works so much better because there's a paper trail, and you can ask Mr. Patton, although I don't see him anymore, if we follow up when things don't get handled. Now, Now that I've given my secret away, I don't expect anything on this council to change. We
Mr.
will
President.
still hear a lot of talking, and that's everyone's right. But I do not really care to be criticized for the fact that I don't do it their way, because I think it would shorten up the meetings if we all talked less. You know, I read about a school teacher the other day who has a sign on her wall that says WAIT, W-A-I-T. You know what it stands for? Why am I talking? And in some cases, you can't figure it out up here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President, there's nothing that I raise on this dais that has not been put into writing, that has not been addressed, that is not being addressed via email. And again, yours get done. I follow the same process and have since I've been in this office. My staff go out every week and do a drive-through through my district. And I'm telling you, we did do that every other week and ask me if they've been addressed. And I can tell you, no. I told the chief of staff, well, I asked the chief of staff to cut the grass on the right-of-way coming off Avenue I over a month ago. And he said, yeah, you did. And it still hadn't been cut. And that was in an email. But you know, if you're a prima donna and you get addressed, that's fine.
Mr. President, point of order, please.
Go ahead, state your
We
point
have
of order.
about 40 little boys standing out in this hallway that has seen
Oh, yeah,
nothing but
bring the
bad
babies in.
behavior.
What's your point of order?
The point of order is that we're not even discussing Station 8 at this point, and I think we need to move on. This was a presentation to begin with. Some counselors have spoken way beyond their ability, and we need to move forward. Out of consideration for the young boys that are standing outside that have been waiting since 9 o'clock this morning for their presentation.
All right. Let's move to suspend the rules for our speakers.
So moved.
Second.
Saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
First speaker.
Mr. President, does that mean that we're going to continue to make the boys wait?
No. First speaker.
Richard Morris. Richard Morris.
State your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Richard Morris. How you doing, Mr. President? Mayor Bell, Austin President, City Councilman. I'm here to speak against the Uber billion-dollar company that's not giving back to the city of Birmingham, that's not following the rules of the transportation that's laid out by the city of Birmingham. I am an independent cab driver in Birmingham, operator. I pay $200 a year in business fees. I provide $500,000 worth of liability for my passengers that's required by the city of Birmingham. I'm fingerprinted and background checked from Homeland Securities in the city of Birmingham Police Department. And whereas Uber does not have to apply to none of these, and I have to use all my time to make money to give back to Birmingham financially and for who I am, and providing proof to who I am through the legal system. The Uber drivers does not have to have the insurance that's required by Birmingham's, which is probably double standard to me. Why I have to pay half $500,000, $500,000 worth of insurance for my passengers, and they don't have to have any insurance for their passengers, which is called commercial insurance, like a 18-wheeler or limousine service. They get it done free. So only somebody that's profiting from Uber is Uber organization. And Birmingham is not a market-based city for Uber. 70% of the people own their own cars. And Uber is only hurting the existing taxi cab companies that have been here for 40 to 50 years. It's hurting us. It's not making the employment better hiring Uber drivers. That's not the case. It's total opposite. Because, like I said, the only somebody that's profiting from those drivers and that company is Uber organization themselves. Birmingham is not getting nothing from that, but made provisions to change the law to provide them to get even more profit. It's a shame that you all even gave them 6 months to see how it goes, to see how Uber gonna provide. It is not benefiting Birmingham at all. It's not helping employment at all.
Your time is up.
Thank you very much.
Thank
God
you.
bless America.
Next speaker,
Suhail Faisley.
state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Suhail Fazli, King Cap Company opinion. My name is Suhail Fazli. I'm going to by Anthony and Yo-Yo. I am owner of the King Cap Company for about 1 year and 5 months. I have experience driving cab about 21 to 22 years in city of Birmingham, Alabama. The most important is the safety of the people of Birmingham, Alabama, and anyone who's coming to the Birmingham, Alabama. King Cab and other taxi company provide the safety. I have seen problems in cab company business is serving customer on time, which is the most important thinking. Customers outside the city of Birmingham, Alabama, has hard time to getting cab sometime. We need Uber out of the Birmingham city limit. And my opinion, and they should only pick up people outside of Birmingham city limit and can only drop off in city Birmingham and at airport. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker. John Grayson.
Hi, my name is John Grayson. I was wanted to address a couple
State
issues.
your name and address.
Okay, my name is John Grayson. My address is 11 Aspirin Court, Homewood, Alabama. I'm going to address some issues with the Uber requirements, like a secure thereof. I was able to have a friend of mine to apply for Uber and had my granddaughter to sign the inspection sheet for approval. And once it was turned in, my friend was approved to drive Uber. And we're here today mostly for the airport and situation. Since you allowed Uber to come into the city, it had infiltrated the airport, where it had affected the drivers that do drive here in Birmingham, 50%. And we feel that with the merchants and business people that come to our beautiful city of Birmingham, we feel that these people should be handled by the professional drivers. We do our best to try to meet the requirements of the city, to keep up standards. And I realize that we may have had problems in the past, but since that we're here now at this point, whatever issue we have in the past, I'm sure the owners would be very happy to address them. But we ask that you, excuse me, we ask you to reconsider some of your decision with Uber, because we think that if you had adjusted the standard for Hooters, then we feel that perhaps you consider adjusting for the owners and us to where we can be somewhat competitive to be able to compete with Uber. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Next speaker, Randy Hill. Randy Hill. All right. Danny Ransom. Please state your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning.
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 I'm Paulette Roby. I serve as chairman of the Civil Rights Activist Committee, Home of the Foot Soldiers. This is Danny Ransom, and we're here today to tell you about the Youth Day program that we're going to be hosting on next Wednesday, July 20th, between 8:30 and 3 p.m. I'm going to let Danny Ransom tell you what we're planning to do on that fun field day for the youth.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The mayor and this august body, council members. As you know, the Civil Rights Activist Committee, Home of the Foot Soldiers, organized 25 years ago to keep awareness and prevalent the memory of the foot soldiers, those brave men and women and children that played a role in the civil rights movement in this city, that had an impact in the civil rights movement in this city, and yea, in this nation and in this world. Our role as members of the Civil Rights Activist Committee is to assure that the memory of these brave men and women and children is preserved. Thus, the day camp that we will hold on Wednesday, July the 20th, in the city of Birmingham, in the Civil Rights District. Hallowed ground it is. 16th Street Baptist Church, Kelly Ingram Park, 4th Avenue District, and now the Civil Rights Institute itself. We are focusing on young people between the ages of 11 and 16, where they can, and we hope, to have an impact on them. The program is outlined in such a manner that it will feature events, discussions that will impact them, we hope, in a way to allay some of the stress this country has experienced last week. It was divine wisdom. We can't take credit for how this program was laid out. It was already laid out before the events that took place last week. So we won't take credit for what's on the program. We have officers that will speak to these young people about how to interact with police officers.
That's great.
We will discuss with them the benefit of protesting nonviolently, that nonviolence is the way, not only in protests, but in your everyday lives. So we appreciate the assistance, the help from the city, and we wanted to be made known that it is our efforts, and we are efforting to keep not only the foot soldiers, men, women, and children, and their awareness in the minds and souls of the people of the city of Birmingham, but in the children themselves, because they are our future. There are live foot soldiers here in Birmingham. A lot of them have gone on. Myself, Ms. Roby, we were impacted by the events that took place. Ms. Rafferty, I heard her call the name of the soldiers who gave their lives in Vietnam. One of them was my classmate.
Bill Terry, the first black man, individual, whose body was exhumed and buried in Elmwood Cemetery. Denise McNair, classmate, 7th grade. We went from kindergarten to the 7th grade together. We want these children, these people, to remember these individuals. They played an important role, unintended, in civil rights in this city.
Can you wrap it up? Your time is up.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Councilor Tyson?
Are the foot soldiers in the budget as a line item on a continuous line item?
I think they are. They're in the budget that we proposed.
The one you proposed, but they are not getting money as we speak. I know the city remodeled their office and everything, but I think as a city of Birmingham, that we have people coming out from all over the country visiting y'all, don't you?
All around the world.
Yes, and they have no funding, because I know, because I've asked y'all to do a project, y'all didn't have the money to do it. So why they are not, it should be an existing line item to where it's just every year they are put in the budget. This is something that the city, this is not a district issue, it's a city issue. This is something for the whole city to bring economic value to the city. When they come in here to the Civil Rights Institute, they want to go to the foot soldiers' office too. And I feel like with the foot soldiers still living, we give 16th Street Baptist Church money. I think they deserve money also. I think it's an economic value to have them in the city of Birmingham, because all cities across the country cannot say that they have an original foot soldier office and original foot soldiers that's living in their city, and that you can truly tell your own story. You don't need no one else to be adding nothing to it and writing it in books for you. You can write a book yourself. So I want to see how can we go by giving them some money like next week. How can we go by that, President, or the mayor, or somebody? I don't care who answers it.
You have to just make a request.
Put a request in.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all can bring a request to the, who we give it to, the Budget and Finance out? Could you put a request in to go to President London, President Austin, do it come to you?
That's fine, they can send it.
President Austin, if you could put a request in to President Austin, and where we can try to see if we can get y'all some finances over there, because I have 900 people that we're trying to get to do an event out there in the park, and 80% of them are youth, where we can get y'all to tell the story of the 50s and the 60s, and it's gonna be a citywide event. So far, we got 900. So we need that event to happen, and we need more events like that, and you need to be in the schools. I know I had them to come to Washington and Hemp Hill Elementary School, but we need them in all schools. The story needs to be told to all of our children from kindergarten all the way up to the 12th grade.
That's in our plans.
Thank you.
And thank you
All
for your
right.
time.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Next speaker, Mr. Jenkins.
Honor the City Council, honor the mayor. I just wanted to announce that the Carver High School, we are having a picnic October the 1st at Carver High School. That's an all-nighter ramp to come out to the Carver High School reunion picnic. Going to start at 10 to 6, the mighty Carver High School. Asking everybody to come out, bring your barbecue grills and whatnot to come out to the Carver High School picnic, the George Washington Carver High School picnic. Also, we are having the Jenkins family reunion July the 30th at WC Patton Park. My family getting ready for family reunion, Jenkins family reunion. It's going to be at Patton Park all day long to the Jenkins family reunion. And also, my prayers go out to Joanne Davis, Deborah Coaching. We went to school together. Her daughter, Robinson, passed, and also my church member, Tommy Banks. We had his service last week. And also the Brooklyn All-Star coming here in Birmingham at Zion Hill Baptist Church, 120 1st Street Southwest, Titusville. That's going to be Denny Turk, the Brooklyn All-Star, going to be here at 4 p.m. this coming Sunday. Bring Denny Turk, bring the Brooklyn All-Star, and also the Cathedral at the Cross of my friend Mr. Tyson got a big program coming at the on the 28th, July the 28th, at Cathedral at the Cross. Gonna be a William Brother, gonna be plenty more gospel group gonna be there. And I would let's say, Mr. Mayor, my prayers go out with you, Mr. Mayor. And my group still singing, men of praise. We was on that gala at Damascus Sunday. And this Sunday, we having our youth day this coming Sunday. Oak Street Baptist Church having our youth day this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. And I'd like to say, y'all come on out to the, inviting y'all to come out to the Jenkins family. We're going to have a wonderful time. That'll be July the 30th at Patton Park. But still, I would like to, for the mighty carver around, don't forget the carver, come on out, everybody, graduate all kind of years, all the years to come out to the Carver High School. Bring your barbecue drills, whatever you bring. Just come on. This is our big picnic we have every year, Mr. Mayor. So you're welcome to come out there at the new Carver High School on the up on the ground, not a football field, but on top of the new Carver High School. So Barbara Galley is my president of the alumni, and she want William Parker, please come. We could bring your we got Mr. Parker bring his. We got something to present you to Mr. Parker. So all we need you to get us on the agenda so we could come down and bring your give your plaque to you. That's all I would like to say.
Next speaker.
Philemon Hill.
State your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Irvin Philemon Hill II. Currently reside at 909 Goldwater Street Southwest 35211. Initially, I was going to present several upcoming sporting events that we're hosting in Birmingham. One is a volleyball camp and tournament for Birmingham City high schools and middle schools. That'll be at the end of this month. The second event is the inaugural Senator Fred Horn Golf Classic. That will be at the end of August. But within the last 24 hours, there is a very important and heated situation that is developing as it relates to the Birmingham City School system. And I would like to know from the council and from the mayor's office, with the strategies that are in place by Kelly Guy-Gooten and the board, along with Tommy Bice and Ed Richardson, what is the plan from the council as it relates to all of the, if not criminal, unethical behavior that is being forced on the communities of the district? And how will the council and the mayor's office counteract? Because the community is not being heard. I don't care what district it is. The community is not being heard, and we need a collective effort and strategy from the council. On last night, I think Councilor Hoyt was able to experience some of what I've been experiencing for the last 4 or 5, 6 years. And even last night, he was allowed to stay the full meeting. I was asked to leave, saying that I was trespassing on public property. Now, if anyone can show me that in law, I would like to see it so I can give it to my attorneys. But I would like to know from the council and from the mayor's office, what is your strategy and plan of attack as it relates to the strategies of Guy-Gooten and the board in closing more schools from the district and lying about the $64 million that they have received from the property tax increase?
Mr. President? Yeah, well, and I had planned to reserve my comments later, and I think I probably will. But I was disappointed in what was being put on the table in the presentation that Dr. Guy-Gooten and the board members who were there, who are supporting the close of Bush Hill School. If this is permitted, this will be the 5th school that's been closed in Ansley. Not two, the 5th school. And I was just really thrown back because there was no options given. And I suggested that we, that we would do the renovation in phases, as we often do in construction. And they hadn't even considered it, but at least one of the board members said, well, we hadn't thought about that. But you need to think about that, because our children are important to us. For the benefit of the public, these children for the last 2 years have gotten up at 6 o'clock in the morning, had to be at the bus stop to catch the bus for the last 2 years. That is disruptive, both for the child and for the parents. But this is what we got in leadership over there, who's suggesting more of the same. And we were promised, as all the other schools were promised, to experience a renovation. This is the last school that was on the list to receive renovations, and you want to renege on it. Derelict, I would call it. And then I had the challenge to even speak at the meeting. Now, we've never treated anybody like that down here. We suspend the rules, let them finish their thoughts and what have you, wrap it up. But I had just said, listen, I represent the district. You had the board district person to speak, and she should, and she did. And I'm the counselor from that district that the school belongs to, I think. London and I, we share a lot of stuff. And we don't get into no power wars about who district is in. We just do. That's the way we do. But I was just appalled that we got that kind of leadership in a superintendent who even challenged me as I got up to speak. An elected official who has always supported the schools. Matter of fact, I just gave $12,000 to college-bound students. And for the last 3 years, I've given almost $20,000 to college-bound students, and 99.5 of them come from Birmingham City Schools. And this is where you treat your partner in education. Not a good leader. Not a good leader. I don't know where she gets it from, but you know what? When you show me who you are, I will believe you. But I appreciate you coming. I didn't know they put you out, but I ain't got nothing to do with the schools other than we support them. And I said to them, and I said again, put it in context. I said I wouldn't vote for a dime to go to the school if y'all close that school, because I know how important neighborhood schools are to the community. Those children have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning is ridiculous. And somebody who has to work, working parents, your schedule is all off kilter. It's not fair. Matter of fact, it's not even quality of life. And this is who we got over there as a leader. I don't think you care about children, at least not mine. And my children are important too. So I wanted to say that. I'm glad you came. But Mr. President, I was flabbergasted that she would even, as a matter of fact, I wasn't the only elected official she wouldn't speak. Representative Gavan was there, Mary Moore was there. I mean, very disrespectful. But now I was told I was disrespectful because I wanted to speak. This is America. Last time I checked, this is America. We have freedom of speech. even though we may not like what you have to say, we still are supposed to let you speak. I always remember Judge Pearson. Judge Pearson said, you don't stop people when they come down here and they praising you. He said, so when they come down to criticize you, you need to allow them to criticize you too. And I can tell you emphatically, I've embraced both. Because I think if you criticize, then it's an opportunity for you to do something different or to do it better. I just believe in that. I embrace that. Now, some folk take, get discombobulated when folk criticize them. But you ought to get better and not worse. Thank you.
Councilor Lundy.
Thank you, leadership. Last night's meeting was saddening. The level of disrespect for the parents that assembled really tore at your heart. None being allowed to articulate their feelings one way or the other. I have yet to hear anyone talk about demographic surveys on the issues surrounding the school. I listened intently. I went there trying to not have a preconceived thought about what was taking place, but to listen intently. And one of the things I heard repeatedly was that there are 35 understaffed schools. I ascertained from the superintendent saying that there are 35 understaffed schools that she has an issue around the student population in each one of those 35 schools. I would think that in her 5-year strategic plan that I think she's going to roll out today, we can look forward to seeing those things addressed. But staying germane to the topic of Bush Middle School and why it's closing, let's talk about the facts. Fact one, previous school board approved the building of a new Bush Middle School.
Correct.
That's fact one. Fact number two, previous board then recommended the remodeling of Bush Middle School. This superintendent told us last night she is recommending full closure of Bush Middle School, making that the 6th school to close in Ensley neighborhood that I share with the distinguished gentleman from District 8. So, I came here to represent the last, the lost, the left out, and the least of these. And the plan that has been articulated in closing Bush doesn't represent any of that demographic. It doesn't represent the will of the people. You've got people from Oak Ridge and Sherman Heights off of Highway 269 having to wake up at 4:30 and 5 in the morning to catch a 6 o'clock bus that takes them to Titusville to go to Center Street. On the way, they're passing Wylam,
Right.
Minor, and Bush Hills Academy. They're passing 3 schools to get to Center Street. Now, I stay in my lane because, the folks elected those people over across the park. But at some point, someone should have said, this ain't gonna work. Like, this isn't representative of the people. I don't know how their finance committee is set up. I know how ours is, and we bulldog our money. We try to count and account for it.
They do the same.
So, somebody's either asleep at the wheel or someone doesn't understand why they were sent down there. The superintendent has her plan. She clearly appears to have her mind made up, but I think it's not the will of the people. I stand with keeping not only Bush Middle open, but seeing that school renovated
to its full capacity as we continue to grow Inslee, so that the kids in the outlying neighborhoods don't have to go across town to get a free, decent public education. It's simply an atrocity, and one of the things that really pulls at your heart.
Thank you, councilors. That question was both to the council and to the mayor's office. Would the mayor respectfully care to respond? Thank you.
Next speaker. Portis. All right. Ms. Jackson. Linda Jackson. Herman. Oh, okay. No. All right. That concludes our speakers. We're ready for the mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, councilors. At this time, I would like for Councilor Rafferty to bring up the young people with the Huffman Baseball Association and Mr. Barry Glenn II, along with all of the members of the team. If you all would come forward. These young people have qualified for the Dizzy World Baseball Series that will be played in South Haven, Mississippi on July 15th through the 22nd. We want to send them off with a heartfelt congratulations and well wishes, and to thank each and every one of them for the outstanding job that they have done to get to this point. Skipper, you being joined by Ms. Rafferty, and please tell us a little bit about these young fellows and the outstanding job that they're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to say a few words. Get my words together. First of all, I want to thank the Mayor, Bell of Birmingham, and the City Council for recognizing our young athletes and coaches at Huffman Park. Your support means a lot to all of us. For the past 4 seasons, from 2013 to 2016, Huffman Youth Sports has fielded teams at the Dizzy World Series. Our numbers have increased 40% over the same period at the park. This season, Huffman Park fielded 30 teams from ages 3 to 18. And today, I'd like to recognize our 9, 11, and 12-year-old All-Star players and coaches. 12-year-old All-Star coach's manager is Curtis Lloyd. Our 11-year-old manager is Mario Bird. And our 9-year-old manager is yours truly, Barry Glenn III. Much of what makes Huffman Park work so well are the team moms. They play an intricate role in the youth development side of our program. I'd like to recognize our All-Star team moms as well. The 12-year-old All-Star team is Amy Sneed. The 11-year All-Star team moms are Kanisha Hawkins and Keisha Cochran. And our 9-year All-Star team mom is my lovely wife, Cynthia Glenn. As we stand before you today, we're asking that the City of Birmingham and the Birmingham City Schools partner with Huffman Park and the youth of Birmingham to continue on the path of youth development, using baseball and other sports as a tool. It is very important to us as community leaders, parents, and park volunteers to reach out further into our communities. This year, we increased our outreach to try and establish a more organized platform to strengthen our youth development programs at Huffman Park. As you know, Huffman Park is a privately owned and parent-operated park and a 501c3. We have recently partnered with Willie Mays, RBI, founded by Ron Jackson, who was here earlier, Papa Jack, but he had to leave. We had a game, and the Papa Jack Foundation. So as partners, they have agreed to collaborate with the Huffman Youth Sports Organization, RBI, which stands for Reviving Baseball in Inner Cities. The Papa Jack Foundation offers baseball opportunities to boys 13 through 18 years old through programs such as EDI, the Elite Development Initiative at Dodgertown, Florida, and the Breakthrough Series in Cary, North Carolina. Major League Baseball former managers and players. This organization brings 40 years of Major League experience and the World Series in 2004 with the Boston Red Sox. Today they will be participating in the Piper Davis tournament at Cooper Green and Parker High School. Next week, they will be participating in the RBI Regionals in Chattanooga, Tennessee. With this collaboration, our goal is to reach out to every school, community, and park in Birmingham to help kids stay off the streets and on baseball fields throughout the year. Our collaboration will continue baseball and youth development with our fall baseball program, where registration starts today on our website at www.huffmanyouthsports.com. I want to thank you, Maribel, our district councilwoman Rafferty, and all of the city, Birmingham City, for giving us the opportunity to showcase our teams, and we ask for support to help make this collaboration between Huffman Youth Sports, Willie Mays RBI, and the Papa Jack Foundation a success for all the youth in Birmingham. So to show our appreciation, we have a small token to present to you, Mr. Mayor. We have a hat, Councilwoman Rafferty, where we have a Huffman Park hat and shirt, and Councilwoman Scales. Even though Huffman Park is not in your district, everybody who pretty much lives in that play at that park lives in your district. So we also have a hat for you as well. And we thank you all for the opportunity to come here, and we thank you for all that you do for the city. We know that a lot is going on around the country and in the city, but we're trying to keep a bright, somewhere there's got to be a light. And in these kids right here, these kids are our future. And I've been at Huffman Park for 13 years, and I've seen children grow up at that park. They are now part of the city government, police officers. Some of them are firefighters. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them are in the Birmingham City schools. And we want to continue to this type of success. So we thank you.
I don't know if the council wants to hear from the names of all of the little ones we have here, but Mr. Mayor, refresh my memory, but is this not the oldest youth field in the city of Birmingham?
We're in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, and in the state of, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure I said
Yes.
that correctly. My dad played there. And that was a way long time ago.
Actually, it's our 72nd season
Yeah, see.
at Huffman Park.
That works, yep. So he played there about the time it opened. And it's always been there. Although my son didn't play there, he did try out. He'd rather play Pokemon. So, but I do love baseball, and I do love the mud and the fun. And these poor boys have been waiting patiently since 9 o'clock this morning to stand before this council to be recognized and be congratulated for their successes. Not just the 9 and the 11-year-olds, but I do believe the 10-year-olds have been invited as well to attend the event. So they have a GoFundMe site.
Yes.
I know I put it on my Facebook page, but it's Huffman, is it?
Huffman Youth Sports.
Huffman Youth Sports. They're still raising the funds for the event. They did have a fish fry and a yard sale this past weekend, and I hope you did well.
We did good. We did
Okay,
good.
very, very good. And so without further ado, I'm gonna let the little ones. Yeah, I'm gonna pull the mic down low.
Give him that hand mic.
It's my kill.
There's one beside you, in front of you, Glenn. It's right there, come on. It's right there.
Okay. Go ahead,
My
do it
name's
again.
Markel.
My name is Kyler Glenn.
Tyler Grayson. Jalen Sharp. Xavier Goodgame. Isaiah Miles. Rondell Cole. Davin Williams. Rashad Smith. Caleb Griffin. Marlon Compton.
And these are this is the 9-year-old.
My name is Kentrell Borden. Jamarcus Russell.
Mario Bird.
Eli Spades.
Christian Cochran.
Jamon Lewis. Vero Lewis.
Taryn Moore.
Ty Tippett.
So it's not all about football and basketball.
And I
It's
can
also
promise
about
you,
baseball and the slide.
and I can promise you, out of this group, there's a major leaguer somewhere in this group.
Oh, yeah.
These guys are some great ball players. So if you get a chance to come out to Huffman Park and check out our program, like I said earlier, I would like for this to be throughout the entire city of Birmingham, and we're here to help develop youth. We're not just trying to single out our own, because we know we're good. We just need some help, helping everybody else. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on, Coach. Hold on, Coach. Coach Glenn, bring everybody back.
Coach.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. You gonna let me? Okay. I wanted to say this. Okay, Coach is talking. Okay. So, I wanted to say this publicly because I appreciate the mayor bringing you all before me. I've always been aware that my babies over there at Huffman Ballpark are in District 1 majority, and that's the reason why I have financially supported them throughout the years, because it takes money to run a parent-run park. I'm hoping, because I remember years ago, Coca-Cola did a sign and some other things, but I'm hoping that the day will come, Mr. Mayor, that we will make an investment because the folk who actually originally owned the land, the reason why they wouldn't develop it is because they wanted to leave it in the community. I do know the history of Huffman Ballpark, and I know that the parents have done some tremendous things to try to make that park work, from mowing the lawn to having concession and vending different things that they're trying to do to help finance these kids. But I will say this, Mr. Mayor, they're in need of financial support. And I don't know how we do it as a city. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just loyal. I want to try to figure out a way that Mr. Mayor, that we can do some things to help them, because they are taking children and they're developing them into young men who become productive members of society. And several of these children that have gone through Huffman, that have gone through Wahoma, have gone to Huffman High School, and now they're in the NFL, NBA, and they're doing very well. And they still call me Mama Scales at the end of the day. So I'd like to see, beyond the GoFundMe account, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, what can we do, excuse me, to try to give them some money? And so, can the law department, excuse me, I'm still getting over something. Tell us what we need to do to try to help them, because they need our support. And these children, some of them are not financially able to go to some of these tournaments. Excuse me. So with that having said, Mr. Mayor, is there anything that we can do? And I'm even willing to put forth discretionary funds to be able to support them. Is there any way that we can support, excuse me, this organization? Is there any way we can do that, Mayor?
I've asked Mr. Glenn to get in touch with me, and Skipper will do that.
Well, I tell you what, if Mayor, if you would authorize it, I'm willing to give out of my discretionary $2,500. If we can do that, because I already know, Ms. Abbott said that earlier about the good song and dance, but anybody that know me in District 1, that I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. So if the law department can approve it and set by law how we can be able to do it, then Mayor, I'm gonna follow your footsteps. I'm gonna help give to these children because I know the difference that it's making. It's not about them coming before the council. I know what they're doing in the community, and you got some real committed parents that, that are making a difference in that community. So forgive me for being choked, you all, but nobody's gonna stop me from talking. I just want to thank you, baby. I just want to make sure if we can do it. I know that the council passed a resolution where we can be able to sponsor some signage or whatever. Because if you all remember, Mr. President, we couldn't do that before. Whatever it takes for us to find some kind of funding to help you, we got to stop talking about the crime in the city, and we got to invest in programs that's helping to eliminate crime. So, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna follow your lead, and I'm a great follower, if you let me. So you show me what to do, and I'm telling you, if the law department can authorize me to be able to do it, you'll have that commitment, Mr. Glenn, and to the rest of these children as well. I just believe in that. They're making a difference, and we're gonna have to put money behind it. Thank you, Mr. President. Sorry about
Thank you. I really thank Counselor, want to thank Counselor Rafferty for bringing these young folks, and certainly I know that Huffman is in your district, and but this is just as important as growing kings, because they are the kings to be right here. You know, no different than us giving money to growing kings that we give to this Huffman, but because these are the same children who attend Birmingham City Schools. And if you support the children, then you support the city. As a matter of fact, you perpetuate the kind of citizen that you want. And so when they grow up, they always remember that it was Birmingham who supported me, you know. And so I really appreciate that, appreciate y'all bringing them here today. I don't think I got no more indiscretion, but because, do I? Well, let me pledge 1,000. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you know, Sister Tyson coming back with hers in a minute, and I'm gonna.
I have one in my district.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
No, you didn't understand what I was saying, Counselor.
Oh.
I said you gonna bring yours up in a minute, and.
Oh, yeah, my team. Yeah, they behind y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you again, Skipper. And like I said, we'll get together, and fellas, y'all go get them now, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all. Councils, for more than 20 years, the More Than Conquerors Faith Church has given back to the city of Birmingham community through their Back to School Respect Rally, offering free book bags, school supplies, food, and entertainment. We have with us this morning Pastor Steve Green, along with the First Lady of More Than Conquerors Faith Church and others who are here with all the partners to give us more detailed information about this annual event. Pastor Green.
Good afternoon now to Mayor Bell and
Pastor.
Ms. Patton and President Jonathan Alston, and of course our district, Sheila Tice. Won't take much time. It's going back to school time. Respect is the 21st annual Respect Going Back to School Rally. This time we are kind of increasing it a little bit, not in response to the recent crimes in Dallas and in Louisiana. Actually, about 4 months ago, while in prayer, the Lord, I believe, gave me a word, Councilman Lundy, that it was time to relaunch the ceasefire campaign. And if you remember, we did that 10 years ago. And so since that time, we have mobilized a very diverse group of leaders here, and Bishop Calvin Woods and some of our others that was here earlier had to leave. There's a very diverse civic group of leaders that we've collaborated with, that we've been mobilizing to get ready to relaunch this, even with the housing department. And so we want to come before you to make that announcement that the annual back to school rally will take place on Monday, That's a note change. On Monday, July 25th, at 6 o'clock p.m. at More Than Conquerors. And we're also launching our first golf tournament, which will be taking place at the Highland Golf Course on Thursday, July the 21st. So if you are not familiar with Ceasefire, it's a Thou Shalt Not Kill campaign. Our aims are to create a citywide environment of hope through comprehensive strategies to strengthen and educate communities and implement various methodologies to reduce violence where we live and where we play. Our objectives, real quickly, is to stop and reduce the violence. Number 2, to decrease non-fatal shootings and homicides in Birmingham. And number 3, engage community stakeholders in meaningful and sustainable collaborations. To develop an ongoing essential life skills training and family self-sufficiency program. So this is more than just events. And to address all kinds of issues that will provide for re-entry into society. And as I close and defer to Bishop Woods here, our events include the platforms we'll use will be Respect Back to School Rally, which we mentioned, what we call CAFE, Community and Family Enrichment Day in the housing units, Cooper Green, Ellington Village, Lubman Village, Birmingham Police Athletic Team, which this coming Friday, we've been working with them on Midnight Madness. So on July 15th, we'll be doing that again with Police Chief Roper and our Fall Festival. And at the beginning of the year, we'll have a 21-day initiative of Watching for the Watchmen. So I want to thank you for helping us. We're taking this in all districts. It's not just in West End. It's not just about More Than Conquerors. We call it News, North, East, West, and South. We're taking out the priest college. We're using the 36 years of ministry experience that we have to do a collaborative, ecumenical shout out and to go in and into the trenches and do what we need to do. Bishop Calvin Woods, if you would.
Thank you, Dr. Green. We honor the Lord, Mayor, council brothers and sisters, delighted to be here. I've been coming up here about 60 years, since 1956. And in spite of the problems we're having, I spoke to a group from Minnesota Saturday evening, called me to come speak to them. And I told them in spite of the problems we're having, Birmingham has been born again. And you know, when you've been born again, the devil is always going to really work at you. I remember when we came up here and laid down in the mayor's office and in the hallway back there. It was just that hard. Saw people got cracked all across the head out in front of the city hall and went to jail. I didn't get up to say that, but I'm proud to be collaborating with Dr. Steve Green. We have a divine connection. I'm not going to talk about it today. God showed me this young man years ago, and he's certainly been touched by God to do what he's doing. And I'm just proud of God. God got leaders, men and women, who are standing up doing his work. And we just want to see the work going on. Whatever he put forth that's in the realm of progress, SCLC is standing 100% with him. I will say that on last night, SCLC, we had a mass meeting. We had an intercessory prayer mass meeting. We had about 15 pastors there, other people. We had a shouting time. This Saturday, we are having a nonviolent seminar at the First Baptist Church, Sipico, from 10 to 12. We have qualified clinicians who will speak from various subjects, talking about anger management, talking about conflict. We're going to talk about grief. We have a clinician to talk about love and one to talk about prayer from 10 to 12, and lunch will be served at 12 o'clock. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for hearing us. I certainly don't want to get in trouble if I could have 2 seconds for my wife to just say something.
Well, thank you guys so much. The day is far spent. I just want to, our part is to bring the faith-based component to whatever the issues are. You guys certainly bring the governmental portion of that. And I was standing here listening, and there was a scripture in the Bible that says that the whole earth would be groaning. There would be a time that the whole earth would be groaning, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. So I think we're in those times. It's time now for the church, like never before, to rise up, take our place in society, in the issues that are going forth, because we certainly do have a part to play. We have a voice to play. There are people who are listening and looking to see what the church is going to do. So I think this is what this aggregation, what we bring to the table and to the issues at hand. We're just the sons of God rising up to speak and take our place as the earth groans for some kind of relief with the issues that are going on.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Amen. God bless you. Anybody? Thank you, sir.
Well, Councilman Tyson.
Okay.
Well, of course, you know More Than Conquerors is in my district. But I had invited First Lady Dee out to do a tour through the low-income community, and we were actually talking to a group of women, and it was a lot came out, and she accepted. She didn't think about it. Well, I might, just let me see. When I asked her, she said, okay. And that meant a lot to the community, and she shared a lot of things with the women, and it helped them out so much. We had our girls actually sign up for the scholarship program for to enter college. Behind that, they have been picked out of the group to actually be put in new housing, apartments, and they are growing. We will continue our tour. We will have one for July. And President Austin, when will we get our discretionary money? Because I want to give the $2,500. Chaz. Okay, well, I'm giving $2,500, and Carlos prepared the paperwork. And I thank y'all so much. Thank you. Okay.
Mayor? You have anything?
Yeah, well,
Mr. Pro Tem, I'm sorry.
well, thank you. I'm always elated when Pastor Green comes and First Lady Green, Lady D, and I just figure out who you remind me of. You like Natalie Cole. Okay, so it just dawned on me. I've been trying to figure that out for some time. I said, she looked like Natalie.
You just not figuring it out. I've been figuring it out.
But, and then I see this wonderful scholar from Berea College, just graduated, Lauren Tate. I had to take another look because you just done grown up on us. That's Miss McKenna. Step up, that's right. And she's a scholar. You all graduated from Berea College, and she's going to do great things. Been smart all her life, got a smart mother, and, intentionally educate her in a way that I think is going to be prudent for young people to take notice. And so just glad to see all of you in the collective because, Pastor, as you well know, our hearts are heavy these days with all the killings that are going on, not only in other places, but even in this city, as we've already experienced, I think, about 54, 55 murders to date. That ought to be, a state of emergency, if you will, because one life is too many. And so I just believe that, churches do need to step up, and to take their rightful places, because the church has more of the world's resources than any institution in the world. And I would imagine that each one of y'all come from different disciplines, different backgrounds, and so we have the ability to solve the problems of our community if we would only just come beyond the walls, and you all have done that continuously. And so I'm going to be inclined to give you all $1,000 from my discretionary. And so, Chaz, I guess you're going to be busy this week. But I do believe that we got to do something. And I'm not one who talks the talk and not walk the walk. And I think I shared earlier, we gave $12,000 to college-bound students. And a couple of those students were some of the first recipients. We brought them back and then gave them additional monies because I still know it's still tough, And if you don't invest in these young folk now, then, you can't talk about the lack of what they're doing in the community because you didn't invest anything in them. you know, and so I think we have to do that. But I am always proud when you all come down here and want to make a difference and have made a difference and continue to make a difference. So thank you so very much. Yeah.
Pastor, thank you for the continued work that you're doing over there, and like you said, it's not just. Let me repeat that. Thank you for the work that you and the First Lady are doing over there. It's not just for members of your church or in the local community, but this is a citywide effort to make sure that our kids get a great send-off each and every year. You know, when I come there, parking is getting harder and harder. But I only request one thing: have my bag of popcorn.
We'll make sure it's there.
Okay, and thank you all for the hard work. You all are involved in so many different things, but our children are the most important. So thank you, and thank you, Bishop, and everyone.
I wanted to say, too, I will not be there on the 25th. I was picked voted on as a delegate, so I will be there representing the state of Alabama at the convention for the President of the United States.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, we're down to old and new business. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next Education Committee meeting will be on Tuesday, July 26th at 2 p.m. in conference rooms D and E. On Saturday, I attended the Rally for Love and Justice at the BCRI, and I want to thank them for doing that. They did a very professional job, and people were showing the love. It was a great event. This Tuesday, the Forest Park South Avondale Business Association and Rev Birmingham are presenting their movies at the park. However, the movie is at a different park this time. July 12th's movie is The Incredibles, and it is at Crestwood Park. So if you go to Avondale Park, you won't find the movie. The next movie will be Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That will be at Avondale Park on the 19th of July. And the last one in the series, July 26th, is The Princess Bride, and it will be at Crestwood Park. So the movies start at 8:15 with live music and the amphitheater open for seating at 7. On Thursday, the 24th annual KBBC Awards Luncheon will be at the Boutwell Auditorium. And on Saturday is the 7th annual Park in the Park, which is an antique car show from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And my Model A may or may not be in it, but it doesn't look as good as all those other guys' cars anyway. Neighborhood meetings tonight, 6 o'clock East Avondale, and at 7 o'clock Highland Park Neighborhood meets. Thank you, Mr. President.
Tuesday, today, the 12th, South Titusville will be meeting at the Titusville Library at 6 p.m. Arlington West End will be meeting at the West End Library at 6 p.m. today. North Titusville will be meeting at 11 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday at the Titusville Library. I have some mayor requests. There are trees down near 10, 16, 17th Way Southwest, and the residents would like for the city to come out and cut them because they fell off of city property, and they have been reported several times. Alley in front of 1540 18th Street Southwest need to be cleaned. It has been reported several times. Next door to 1616 Mims Street Southwest, the grass is overgrown and the house needs to be torn down. If we're not able to tear the house down now, is any way we can get the property actually cut and cleaned? On 18th Place Southwest, there is a burnt down house that is a nuisance to the neighborhood. The owner is deceased and they want that house down. I have gotten, I guess they're doing a team up call. They have called me, I don't know how many times. The next PIC meeting will be today, Tuesday, July the 12th at 2 p.m. in conference room A. Thank you. Oh, let me tell you, they're gonna have They want to have a prayer vigil, really a prayer vigil, I guess, / Stop the Violence rally at South Park Baptist Church. You can call my office at 254-2358. I really don't have the exact time, but it will be this Friday. They're trying to bring the police chief and the community together to actually to have a talking session and a prayer vigil. Thanks, President Austin.
Dr. Lundy?
Thank you, leadership. Mr. Patton, St. Paul and the Broken Bones are a huge music group that you probably listen to on the regular. They are having a video shoot in downtown Ensley, and we are excited about that. But I have received complaints today from the business owners on 19th Street saying that they weren't duly notified and their businesses have been adversely affected because they've shutting down the streets for the video shoot all day, and their customers can't go to and fro because the set is closed and they weren't properly notified. Now, we're not advocating that folks don't use Ensley. To the contrary, we just want them to be duly notified when one of your favorite groups come to town wanting to shoot their video, you know. Just want to.
Did you want me to respond?
Well, I just, yes.
Okay, I found out about it late yesterday afternoon. I think that Ms. Tyson, if I'm not correct, Councilor Tyson, is supporting the event, and they asked for our assistance with air conditioning being turned on in the old police precinct. That was our extent of what was going on over there. So I hate to tell you this, but I don't really listen to too much radio. I get road rage, so I don't listen to it anymore. So I hear what you're saying now.
Yeah. Just for our business owners. In fact, had it been coordinated properly, they could have prospered from an opportunity like this, because there are hundreds of folks over there.
Once again, I had very little knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a big deal.
I mean, I didn't either. When I was asked, I sent them to your office, and it was something dealing with the police department. The guy was actually up here, and I went on and asked him. He went on and contacted the mayor's office and put it in, but I had never heard of Broken Bones before anyway, so I didn't really know what it was. I thought it really was a commercial because Brandon is actually participating in it. So I think I might need to go out there to see what the Broken Bones is all about.
Yeah, they are a huge musical group.
I never heard of it.
Huge. They've been on all the late night shows, and they got a huge following.
I thought it was just like a big fight. I mean, the Broken Bones.
I thought it was a commercial for real. That's what I thought it was, a commercial. But I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a commercial.
See? What hip? You got to get with it, Mr. Pat.
Okay.
There's going to be an unforgettable night with the bishop, a pre-anniversary celebration for Bishop Calvin Woods Sr. They're actually going to be roasting the bishop. No preaching, nothing but good times, jokes, good food, and it's going to be at Hopewell Baptist Church. That's at 2315 26th Avenue North, where his son, Timothy Justice Woods Sr. is the pastor, and that's going to be this Friday starting at 6 o'clock. We're going to roast Bishop Woods this Friday. Yes, you may. Yes, you may. Oh, okay. All right. Well, just holler at me. I might have a ticket for you. I'm feeling benevolent today. I have a ticket for you. So if you would, I don't have them often, Doc. Feeling like Santa Claus today. Unforgettable night with the bishop, 2016 roasting banquet of Bishop Calvin Woods Sr. Promises to be a good time that will be had by all, and we're inviting everyone to come out this Friday, the 15th at 6:30. And lastly, Faith in Action. It's a group of about 80 churches from across Alabama, every denomination, and even those that are non-denominational, will like to invite you to its interfaith community gathering for prayer, which will take place this Thursday, July 14th from 7 to 8 p.m. I promise you, it's going to start on time and end on time. At Livingstone's Temple, that's 1009 Walker Avenue, Fultondale, 35217. Feel free to invite folks who know the words and the worth of prayer to this event. And if you have any questions, contact Daniel Schwartz at 451-3352. And that's the Faith in Action Alabama, a bunch of churches from every denomination coming together to pray and seek the face of God. So those who know the words and the worth of prayer, please come out for that. And that concludes my announcements, leadership.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is for the Mr. Patton. There's a hazardous that's at Bush Boulevard and Avenue Y. It's about 2 feet deep, and I got a picture here of it. And so I'm gonna give that to you, but we've sent it via email already. But I just wanted you to know that we really need to get some attention on that so we don't get sued by some citizen or what have you, but it's about 2 feet deep. And so hopefully we get that addressed. Beverly Heights Neighborhood Association meets tonight at Brown Elementary at 6:30. Central Park meets Thursday at the 5 Points West Library at 6 o'clock. The Public Safety Committee, Transportation Communication Committee meets on Monday, July the 18th, here in City Hall in these chambers. No More Martyrs will be holding its Mental Health Awareness Summit on this Thursday, the 14th, and that's at the Crossplex from 8:30 to 5 p.m. Just wanted to say congratulations to our esteemed erudite leader, Councilor President Jonathan Fitzgerald Austin. He has been accepted to Cumberland School of Law, and so I think that is great. He's going to be a fine attorney, because look like the way we're going to need one. And so he's just getting ready for us. We excited about him and about what he's doing. And even at all of this, trying to help run a city, he's got time to study. You know, he just graduated, Miles, with honors, magna cum laude, so he's nobody to play with. And so we just know that he's going to be doing great things at Cumberland School of Law, one of the top law schools in this state. So we're excited about that, and it's just a blessing to know that your colleagues can aspire to greatness, and you get a chance to see it. And I just saw his dedication while he was studying for the LSAT, and I just want you to know my daughter's right behind you, because she be sitting, I think she's going to take her test in August, and just got her certification that she will be graduating in December from Spelman University in 3.5 years, no summer school. They don't have summer school. So that means she's been paying attention. And so she's gonna be done. And her mama said that she wants a party, not Maya, but she wants a party. So, so I guess we're gonna have to do that too. Yeah, and so, but we're excited about that. I think you got to celebrate your children too. You know, I don't want to be like Eli. You know, he up there doing the Lord's work, and then he ain't doing what he need to do by his own children, and they become corrupt. And so we have a responsibility to spend time with our children, And so they become judges, like Ms. Javis. Patton would be a judge. Javen would be a judge. But when you invest the time and effort in them, then that's what happens. And so all I'm trying to do is like Mr. Patton and Mrs. Patton. Maybe it'll save me some money somewhere. Maybe I'll get a little bit back. I don't know. You don't get none back. Don't get none back.
You still putting it out.
Yeah, so, but anyway, much has been said today, but I do want our young people to know that formidable debate is important. We don't all have to agree down here, but we can disagree to agree, and that is that we still need to run this city. And the city is running, and it's not running, haphazardly, but it's running with intention. But we don't all agree. We don't all agree on the politics of the day, and there's seen to be quite a bit being played right about now. But in spite of that, I think it's important that we understand that this is nothing that doesn't take place in Congress or anywhere else. You just don't see it like you do here. And quite frankly, unlike other municipalities within this county, we don't have the luxury of not having a camera in our face in our committee and, every day, and what have you. We have a committee meeting, there go one of the media groups there and what have you. But Homewood and Hoover and these other places, they can have their council meeting and not one camera shows up. And guess what? And they don't agree on everything either. And they have formidable debate over there. But the thing about it, it doesn't sell. The only thing that sells is Birmingham politics, Birmingham city councils. And so we're making money for folk. So they've been very profitable on our backs. And dangerous too. You got to embrace the danger too, I suspect. But I just hope that we quit playing these games and that we move this city forward as it deserves. I just want a clean district. It's embarrassing to get off of your exit, your entryway into your community, and it's filthy. Trash everywhere. Grass 2 feet high. And I meant to, I said you'd lose your baby. You had to call Amber Alert to find your baby in the grass. It's not fair. It is not fair. And it's not happening everywhere, but primarily, disproportionately, it's happening in my district. And as long as I'm on this council, I'm gonna raise the issue until something gets done. And you don't have to do anything about it. But I guarantee you, I would take it upon myself, get my own, these are great cameras. They can do videos and take pictures. And I'm gonna make an issue of it and bring my folk down here and let them talk to y'all and maybe it get done. I still say we're making a difference in how we perpetuate the maintenance of certain communities. Some communities don't have to ever, put in anything. It gets done. Well, I want the same thing for Ensign. I want the same thing for District 8. And it's not happening. And you can not do it because you think that's going to get me out of office, but my folk know I'm an advocate. That's why they've elected me 3 times, because I advocate for them. And so any money be spent be a waste of time. I wouldn't waste my money, because when the Lord is for you, who can be against you? I do know that. I do know that. I do know that. And it doesn't matter. You can be, if you want to act like Jacob, trickster, deceiver, you can. But one thing about it, Jacob ended up being blessed, but reciprocity always has its place. He still had to pay. And we all going to have to pay when we play games. Okay? So stop the drama. This is not theater. This is serious business. But, you know, you get tired of the tragedies. You know, that's part of theater. You know, you have the plot, the premise, the antagonist, the protagonist, the tragedy, and then the comedy. Those are parts of theater. So young people, if you don't know that, go and look that up. I did go to school for summer, so I know a little something. So thank you all, Mr. President. Good meeting in spite of that. We got some great information, did some great work today.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. East Avondale meets Tuesday, July 12th from 6 to 7 at New Bethel Baptist Church, Forest Park, Avondale. South Avondale meets Tuesday, July 12th from 6:30 to 7:30 at Avondale Library. East Lake meets Tuesday, July 12th from 7 to 8 at Household Faith of Church. The upcoming events for District 5, there's a Move 2059 public information meeting at St. James Missionary Baptist Church this Thursday, July 14th at 7:30 p.m. There'll be music at Kelly Ingram Park on this Friday, presented by Urban Impact on July 15th from 5:30 to 8:30. And it was good last month when we had it. I went and participated. It was nice. It was good music. It was fun. The Minority Mental Health Awareness Summit is a unique national event that focuses on the importance of cultural competence in mental health care and advocacy. The summit is open to the public and is scheduled for July 14th at the Birmingham Crossplex. I certainly want to thank Officer Lewis for providing our security today, along with Officer Morris from the South Precinct. I would say that I'd be remiss if I didn't say, on behalf of the council, I'm sorry to put you in those types of precarious situations, although I know that this was not the council. It was one council member and the administration that put you in that position. I just want to apologize for creating that ruckus and putting you all in that untenable, just bad situation this morning. But thank you for your service. We appreciate what you all are doing, and we appreciate you just continuing to keep us safe and protecting the citizens of Birmingham. So I just want to thank you. I want you to know that your work is not going unnoticed, and we certainly appreciate everything that you do for us as the council, but more importantly for the community at large. Thank you all so much for that, and for treating the people with respect too, as you're trying to help keep the order. Councilor Lundy, did you have something for you?
Move for adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying
Third.
aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
This meeting is adjourned.
Throw that thing down.